Yes, guys. Larry from the Gym Rat Pack back in the house. Sorry, I ain't got the other two guys with me today. We're all a bit busy right now, last few days, but it's all good. We're still coming to you with a show review. This is episodes 5 and 6, or a review of episode 5 and 6 of Miss Marvel, 6 being the season finale. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive in. So this will be a quick wrap up, but basically season 5, if you remember, she traveled back in time because Najma stabbed Kamala's bangle. She traveled back to the time of partition and her great grandmother Aisha's time when she met her partner and had her grandmother. So they showed a lot of that stuff. Them meeting and stuff like that, and most of that episode was geared towards that. So they showed a lot of the story behind partition as well. And so basically, in a nutshell, when it came to that stage, when they had to flee because obviously partition, people were traveling to what is now Pakistan, and some people were traveling to India. Kamala's great-grandparent, Aisha and her husband were on the way to the train to leave, but Aisha was followed by Najma, if you remember, it's Cameron's mum, and obviously she wants them to help her. Well, she wants her to help them go home, and with the bangle, and she told her previously that she hid the bangle because Najma did approach her earlier saying that she was looking for her, and then she comes to find that she's got a family and whatnot, and she said no, she still reassures her, Aisha reassures her that she wants to go home still, and that she just needs to find the bangle because she's hid it somewhere, knowing where full well she's got it. So basically Najma stabs Aisha because she realizes that she just wants to get away with her family and not help the other clandestines to get home with the bangle. So she stabs Aisha, and then because Kamala's traveled back in time to that specific point in time, Kamala then sees Aisha, and Aisha recognizes her. I don't know, powers or whatnot helped her do that. And she kind of told her, look, help Sana, which is Kamala's grandmother and Aisha's daughter, get to the dad. So she starts looking for her, so she finds Sana, and she makes like those circles that she normally makes, that she steps on to find her way, but then she bumped into someone, and that kind of dissipated the light. The circle made out of light. So then that turned into stars. And if you remember the story from previous episodes, the story was that she followed some stars to her dad. So those stars kind of floated towards her dad, and she followed them towards her dad. So that's how. So really, Kamala was the one that saved her grandmother and got her to her dad, who didn't manage to get on the train and go to which is now Pakistan. So that was kind of like, no, that wasn't the ending, because then Kamala came back to the previous time, and there was like a veil of light, and I think it was the way that the clandestines could travel back to their home, but that wasn't happening, and it started destroying all of them one by one that were trying to enter it. And Najma was the last one, and Kamala was trying to warn her, look, it's going to destroy you. You got Cameron. And then Najma said something along the lines of like, she's going to go be with him. And then she mentioned his name before the veil of light hit her and killed her. And as she did that, the camera then went to Cameron, who then all of a sudden eyes lit up and got all these sort of like the light, similar to Kamala, the light all around him, but it was a different color. I think it was orangey yellow kind of thing. So he now has powers, presumably. So Kamala then goes back to New Jersey from Pakistan. Um, yeah, she says her goodbyes to the Red Daggers and whatnot. And we're getting into episode 6 now, where Cameron looks for Bruno to help him. And Bruno invites him back to his house, but the damage control have like a drone that's following Cameron. So they shot up underneath Bruno's house. I think it was a restaurant. So they went on a run kind of thing. They went on the train and the subway, and they were trying to escape, but the damage control people were after them. And then Cameron started to use his powers quite destructively on the train, like breaking windows and stuff like that. But I think they managed to get away. By that time, Kamala's back in New Jersey and she's chilling with the family and having. And then, sorry, I forgot to mention previously in the last episode, Kamala's mum then finds out that she is this light girl, you know, the superhero from New Jersey and whatnot. So when they come back, the mum's already told the dad and her brother and his wife. So, but Kamala comes to make an announcement that she's got these powers, and they try and act surprised. So she realizes, right, you've already told them. And they were like, yeah, you know, and they were trying to ask all these different questions. Then Nakia phones Amir, asking, you know, well, and then Kamala picks it up and they're asking, where's Bruno? We haven't seen Bruno, because obviously Bruno's with Cameron. So she goes to find them. She finds them. And then they mention about damage control being after them. Yeah, they find each other at the school, I think. And then Nakia's there. And then Zoe, who she saved in the first episode, is there because she's filming her TikTok videos there. And she was like, I want to help Night Girl, which is now Kamala, she knows, because, you know, she saved me in AvengerCon. And then Amir, Kamala's brother, then shows up. And he's like, oh, mum sent me to look after you. And she's like, superheroes don't need chaperones. So anyway, so they're surrounded by damage control and they're in the school. So they figure out this plan to get away, basically. And her plan is to get, she rang up the leader of the Red Daggers now, who helped her out in Pakistan in the previous episode. And he said that he can get her out, because if he can get Cameron to a certain harbour, he's got someone there that can get him out. So that was her plan, to get them out of there, to get him to the harbour. So she comes up with this elaborate plan, which, to be honest, it didn't look great, because it was all like kiddie stuff. And I understand it was in a high school and whatnot, but it involved loads of softballs, you know, being thrown or by a machine at the damage control people, and, you know, misdirecting them and this, that, and the other. But anyway, to cut a long story short, Cameron and Kamala then get outside and damage control all over them. And he starts to use these powers quite destructively. By this time, all the people that have been helping Kamala have been arrested by damage control. So as Kamala then jumps out of a window, comes to aid Cameron, and she kind of stops Cameron, like really hurting someone with his powers. And then there comes a point where he did something and a big truck or tank was about to fall on the crowd, which included her mum, Kamala's mum and dad. And Kamala managed to save them, grab the truck and pull it back. And yeah, damage control starts shooting at them. They put up a shield, and Cameron starts to use. He doesn't look like he has full control of his powers, but he starts to use his powers destructively again. And then Kamala kind of cocoons them in this light kind of dome thing on the street. And she was like, look, I can help you, blah, blah. She punches a hole through the ground, which is presumably to let Cameron escape. But again, how are you going to punch a hole through the ground and it's going to show exactly where to go? Like, I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, then Kamala lets go of the light, the dome of light, and she's just standing there. and then the whole crowd that were there come to back her up basically against the damage control people. Even the police who were there, who she actually saved from the truck falling onto them, were backing her up as well. And then the head of damage control, who wasn't actually there, then phones up and says, "You better leave now because I gave in a direct order not to proceed. You proceeded, and now I'm sending people to clean up your mess, and you're relieved of duty." So it kind of ends there. So we've got after that, everything's all good and blah 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 blah. Bruno then lets the cat out of the bag vis-a-vis Kamala and her powers, because he says, look, Amir, your brother, thought he might have powers too. So I had to look at your genetic makeup, which I don't understand how he's doing that with no equipment, because it takes, believe me, as a former scientist, I got a degree in pharmaceutical chemistry. It takes a lot of expensive equipment to be able to look at genes and stuff like that. So anyway, but we'll suspend our belief. So he goes, "Yeah, I've looked at your genes, and there's a mutation in your genes which allows you to have these powers." And as soon as he said that, if you guys remember the 90s X-Men cartoon, the theme tune where it goes da-na-na-na-na-na, the little part of da-na-na-na came on. So that is a big hint. You couldn't get any more of a hint unless Kevin Feige popped out and says, "She's a mutant." You know what I mean? You couldn't. So basically, she's a mutant. That's how they're getting that. And then subsequent to that, I then read an article from either Variety or Deadline, in which they interviewed the showrunner, Bisha K. Ali, I think, in which she actually says that, yes, she is a mutant, and she was told by Kevin Feige to put that in there. But she doesn't know where Kevin Feige's going with this, because Kevin Feige's so secretive. Do you know what I mean? So although I'm a bit apprehensive about that, I give Kevin Feige the benefit of the doubt, and I want to see where this goes. So she turns out to be a mutant. Then there's a post-credit scene of Kamala lying down in her bed, and then her bangle starts to light up, and then she stands up, and then all of a sudden she disappears, and then Carol Danvers shows up, who's played by Brie Larson, obviously, and she's looking around thinking, what the, and then it ends. So that obviously sets up what's going to be happening in the film called The Marvels, which is going to be the film they next appear in. So it's, that's quite exciting. So yeah, that was the wrap up of the show. I thought that this episode was decent, as were most episodes in the Miss Marvel series. I didn't like the stuff in the high school. I just felt it was a bit too kid-like. And I know they're kids and whatnot, but I don't know, it didn't sit well with me. All the, the baseball, softballs, whatever, and all of that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think overall, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. It's slightly better than Hawkeye. Hawkeye being the worst of the Disney Plus series right now, I think, for a lot of people. I think this is just slightly better than Hawkeye. It started off great, but I just feel like it didn't stick the landing. But it gave us a little tidbit with a mutant thing, so I found that quite interesting. And being a big X-Men fan, you know what I mean, I want to see what's going on there. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty good finale, and it sets up, obviously, well, not sets up, but it kind of does set up the Marvels film that's going to be happening soon, which is going to include her, Carol Danvers, and Monica Rambeau. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what the lads, well, I know Damien hasn't been watching it, but I don't know what Leon thinks of it. He might give you his verdict at some point. But I just thought, yeah, 7 out of 10, it was decent, the whole series. The finale was okay. I feel like I think I've been spoilt, really, because The Boys, which I'll be doing the season finale shortly, The Boys is just so good. It's really making me sour on a lot of these shows now that are just not as good as it. And I don't expect Miss Marvel to be as good as the boys, and obviously it's a different sort of demographic they're going for. But yeah, the boys are just so far ahead of everyone right now. I mean, I bet Marvel wish they had a show like the boys, you know, going on. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, so this is that's the wrap up of Miss Marvel. I thought it was okay. So let us know what you thought. Did you watch the finale, and did you watch the whole season, and what did you think? Leave some comments down below and let us know what you think.